liberty, and justice for all. Good morning, Moines County Board of Supervisors, Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. Are there any changes to the tentative agenda?
I have none.
We have an agenda. Meet with department heads, elected officials. Sarah Doty, Moines County Auditor, big day.
Good morning. It is special election day, so get out there and vote if you're in the Burlington School District. Polls are open until 8 p.m. Other than that, in the office, we're still accepting absentee ballot request forms for the general and plugging away at getting things going for the general.
Thank you, Sarah. Colin Gerst, IT.
Good morning, just keeping busy like always, nothing really new to report, so.
Thank you, Kevin Glendenning, Des Moines County Sheriff.
Good morning. Plenty going on for us as well. Really no major news with the board though. Our jail count was at 102 adults, 27 are out of county. Our residential facility wait list is up to 8, so that's getting a little bit long and a little bit old. So we'll continue to work on that, but it is what it is. We're kind of at their mercy and we just try to have good communication and get that list moving along.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
Rodney Gleason, Maintenance Director.
Good morning, just lots going on, nothing new to report this morning.
Thank you, Rodney. Lisa Schaefer, Des Moines County Attorney.
We're busy.
I see that. Thank you, Lisa. Jared Lassiter, Land Use.
Pretty much the same story for all of us. We're just keeping busy as usual. We got one item on the agenda today, and that's pretty much all we have right now, so.
Thank you, Jared. Chris Lee, Conservation Director.
Oh, we're not busy at all. We're actually running out of things to do, and so if anybody needs some help, you
You get your law license in like a week.
ChatGPT will probably do it for me. No, I'm kidding, of course. No, it's we're just kind of cruising along, like on the agenda today, so.
Thank you, Chris. Janelle Nally Longquist, Des Moines County Treasurer.
Good morning, I'm gonna steal from Chris. We're cruising along, collecting taxes, and they're obviously selling motor vehicles. We're busy on that end too.
When are taxes due?
You're seriously asking me that?
No, well, I thought maybe somebody might mention it in the paper.
September 30th is the last day to pay without penalty. I'll let you pass on that.
Thank you, Janelle. Shannon Prado, Emergency Management.
Just the same story, been very busy, nothing new really to report.
Good news from you. Angie Vaughn, Safety.
Good morning. Same thing. Been keeping busy, but not really anything to
Thanks for
report.
making my minutes real easy.
Good news. Krista Fogelmiller, Local Health.
Good morning. It's immunization time for us this time of the year, so we are also keeping busy. We did get COVID vaccine in. We have a limited number of doses, but we give those on Tuesdays from 8:30 to 4. So I encourage anyone that wants to get a COVID dose at our office to get in early. As far as, like I said, we just have a limited number of doses. We anticipate getting the flu shots. We'll have those on the 17th, and then we'll be giving those on Tuesdays as well as setting up appointments for the different departments and going out and giving flu vaccines there. And the public health building is moving along. We're excited that this afternoon we'll do that walkthrough, and hopefully in the very near future we'll schedule a date for the ribbon cutting and the move.
Is the furniture still scheduled for next week?
Last I heard it was September 16th to be done by the 23rd.
Well, this afternoon will be the time to squawk if there's something you don't like. Thank you, Krista. Brian Carter, County Engineer.
Good morning. So, good day today. We are pouring the bridge deck on
I saw that nice
Highway 99.
pictures.
So, a little bit of a slow start, just getting the concrete dialed in. But hopefully, I would think by now they'll be into the adjustments they need to make and hopefully moving smooth. So that should be once they really get rolling, that should be a 4 or 5 hour project. But so that's a good thing for today, and that doesn't mean the work's over by any means. There's plenty of work left. It's got cure time for now, and then once they get going again, there's plenty of stuff to be done. But it is good progress, and I think they're hoping to pour the Upper Flint Bridge deck next week if everything goes okay. So So progress on those. Let's see, down in the bottoms where we built the bridge on the dead end road that you guys, I think I had all three of you at some different points. We're starting, I think this week, to start working towards getting those tank cars out of the drainage ditch, so that'll be, I expect that to be kind of a beast. The guys are gonna start into that, we'll see how it goes, and the levy district is gonna come over and help us whenever we need them, so we'll see how that progress goes, see how those things, how much they're silted in and how much of a battle it is to get them out. Last week, took Jim and we went down to the tour down at down in Hannibal that you guys went on previously. It was, I felt kind of, I won't say more interesting, but they were a little further along on this one, and they had 3 guys working on it as we stood there.
It wasn't just better company?
That was quite, no. Fair point by the prosecution. But they were further along, and they had more bodies in the shop. They said that. They said when we were there before, they were all backed up because a lot of their interns or whatever their terminology were wrapping up their classes to start working full time, and they were all working full time. So there were 3 or 4 guys working on our machine at the same time, and they actually swung the cab on while we were sitting there. So so it was a little more interactive with the people that were actually doing the work, I felt, and I think it's, in the end, they're still gonna cost a chunk of change, definitely less than a brand new machine. And once they tore them down, each machine they found stuff that you would have never found that had issues that they were able to replace because of the scope of tearing it down. So yeah, still worthwhile. I think Jim enjoyed seeing that process. So that was a good trip and got that done. And you guys are aware because I've sent you emails, but just so you know publicly, I am working on a couple MOUs, memorandum of understandings. One with the city of Danville, because when we do our asphalt job next summer, they asked that we would continue it through the city limits on Old Highway 34 and DMC Highway 34. So which is not a big deal. So we're working on an agreement with them. So obviously they need to reimburse us for any expense that's in the city limits. So that's what that has. I sent a draft of it to you guys to take a look at. I think everybody, I never heard from Jim, but I heard from all the other 2 of you, and that you said it looked fine, which obviously I wouldn't call it rocket science. And I sent it off to Danville for their review. The other MOU is with the city of Burlington. Same thing, different project. When we do the asphalt on 99 next summer, they asked if we would extend it to the south. I had already bounced that back and forth with one of their engineers and made some changes before it ever sent email to you. So hopefully, once they kind of run through their review process, that's looking good. But we'll see where that comes back and make whatever tweaks. And both of those will get approved by the proper councils and then ultimately ran through the board for approval. And they're both just basically reimbursement for costs that are in their areas. So that's going on. And then I'd mentioned that somebody, I sure wish, this is one of those cases where you'll never know, but it should be nice to know. Somebody decided this weekend to dump a load of shingles in the middle of Sycamore Road, southwest of Burlington, I guess would be the best way to describe where that's at. It's off on a gravel road. I'm sure they probably did it in the dark, if I had to guess, and strung it for about a quarter mile. And of course, we had a couple calls. We found out about it on the weekend, so we took a motor grader down and basically tried to windrow as much as we could over onto the side, but that doesn't necessarily take care of the nails, so there were some frustrated folks, rightfully so. So once we had an opportunity to deal with it, the guys went out with a loader, and of course you can't just scoop shingles once they dump it on a gravel road, so we scooped up everything for however far they had to go. Then we borrowed a truck with a magnet mounted on it from Lee County, and I gather that they picked up almost a 5-gallon bucket of nails. So, just, you know, again, it's ignorance on somebody's part, which causes a whole lot of damage for other people and their tires for sure.
That might be kind.
I don't, there's certain things I don't want quoted in the paper, for myself, but I would agree, I think that's kind, I think anybody that has to use that road on a regular basis would agree with that wholeheartedly, so, so anyway, that was just, I'd give you a little insight into the weekend, that was a call-in, an unexpected call-in this weekend, so, anyway, plenty of other stuff going on, but that's what's going on now, and Shane, I know Tom's busy, obviously Jim wasn't able to make it to the meeting today, so if you want to go look at that bridge pour, you're welcome to, if not, no big deal. There will be another one, I'm hoping next week, and I'll let you know when that is, if it works for you guys to get, if you wanna just see it. It's nothing too special, but one to offer, so.
I'm tempted to propose offering a reward.
Yeah, I spoke to a gentleman on the phone yesterday at 7:15 in the morning, and he was quite unhappy. So, he had picked up nails himself yesterday, and so he was pretty worked up, the weekend, so. Yeah, I don't blame him. Wasn't what we wanted either, so.
Thanks, Brian.
Yep.
Missed anybody? I had no correspondence.
I have none.
We will proceed to discussion and vote. We have resolution 2024, number 45, the final plat for the Albert Vaughn subdivision. I believe Jared is prepared to summarize this.
Alright, so this is, it's 2 lots, but it's technically only 2 lots because one, the property is split between City of Burlington and the county. So this is on the west side of the airport, west side of Hartman Road. I think about 2/3 of it is in the city, and then the remainder is in the county to the south of the city limit. So it's part of a large property that's been in the same family for generations. The land that's being split off is all farmland. The intention is to just sell that to a neighboring, or an owner, another farm family that owns land in the same area, with the plan to continue using it for farming long-term. So because it's in both the city and the county, it did go to the city for review initially, and then the council did approve it at their meeting last week. Overall, the main issue we looked at here would be access going forward. There is a driveway to a house just to the south of Lot 2, but that was not included as part of this for any easement purposes. And there also is an existing easement along a driveway for a house on Hillary Road that had been split off previously. It's within that same family. But we did confirm that because there's a long amount of frontage on Hartman Road, it would be possible to get another entrance along that section somewhere. Nothing has been proposed immediately, but that just if there ever is requested any additional access point there, that would be a possibility. However, we did confirm that the north side on Hillary Road, it's only about 300 feet of frontage there, but it's also has some drainage issues documented, as well as site distance challenges. So we did include a condition on the resolution noting that no new entrances will be permitted from that side on the north edge. But basically that means that Hartman Road, essentially, there would be options still available for that going forward as needed. So we would recommend approval of Albert Vaughn subdivision.
Thank you, Jared.
I move to approve 2024 45 final plat for Albert Vaughn subdivision.
Second. Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. We will sign these after the meeting for you, Jared.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, set dates for the county rural resident fall cleanup, and I suspect Sarah has some input on this.
Yes, and I have the dates in front of you. I believe it's October 6th.
Seventh.
What is it?
7th
Okay, through what?
through December 14th.
Perfect.
I move to approve.
Second, Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Okay. We have the Conservation Annual Report, and I see Chris has done his homework, turned it in on time.
Yeah, like Brian, I'll only take a couple hours to go through this.
We're looking forward to it.
No, just wanted to touch on some highlights. So we are required by state code to provide an annual report to the Board of Supervisors every year. On behalf of the County Conservation Board, I presented this final draft version to my board at our board meeting last week. And so it just kind of summarizes what happened, the big things that we did throughout the course of fiscal year 23 and 24. That was a busy year for us. It might be, I've been with the department for, 16 years now, and this might be the busiest year we've ever had. Now granted, I wasn't around while they were building the lake, so that might exceed that. But certainly under my tenure, this is one of the busiest years we've had. We added a parcel of ground to Hickory Bend Conservation Area, and so all the grant writing and all the things that had to happen behind the scenes to make that happen. Our park ranger, our long-serving park ranger, Pat Rogie, retired, and we converted his house into a ranger cabin. So we went through that process. And then while that's kind of going on, we decided to move our main office into the nature center. And so we did an office move. And then while that was happening, we renovated our major park, did $400,000 worth of renovations, building new campgrounds and adding a whole bunch of concrete and working with contractors and all that kind of stuff. And then that slid us right into the busy park season, and we tried to figure out how to patrol our parks without a certified law enforcement officer. And we held a fundraising banquet with our foundation along the way, built a couple sediment ponds.
Have you ever seen a chicken?
Right? So, it's just kind of one of those deals that we felt we were pulled in 1,000 different directions at all times, and I gotta give my team credit. They did a stellar job without a complaint. Well, without mostly any complaints.
Right on.
And, but you can tell they're feeling it. And so I'm really looking forward to, hopefully this next year, we can just kind of figure out how to get a nice flow going. We've got a bunch of new staff, we've turned over some positions, we've hired some new folks, and so we need to find our stride. And so hopefully this next year we can do that. We're gonna have some things on the docket in this coming year, but this last one was absurdly busy, and I gotta give the team credit for all the work that they did, the support of this community. I mean, the projects that we did were completely made possible because of the way the community supports our efforts. The donations we got, we were able to leverage grants to do all that stuff. We did have a big hollow. We did a lot of stuff at the Nature Center through grants and donations that we got for that. We've got support from so many different directions, and that feels good to have that kind of support from this community. I hope we're reciprocating that by creating the types of places that they love to go to. Based on our numbers, we get a lot of people in our parks. We're seeing a little bit of a downtick in some of the numbers. I think we're finally hitting that post-COVID level out. Camping numbers have dropped back down. We also had some weather issues. Spring was kind of crazy with weather. If we lose out on the month of April, that's a pretty big blow. Sometimes you get a really, really nice April and our camping numbers just shoot through the roof on the front end of the year. And And so that really affects our numbers. And then it kind of feels like, you know, maybe it's gas prices, maybe it's the economy, but we're not seeing quite as many campers out there, which, you know, that's things kind of ebb and flow. Shooting range numbers, we're down a little bit, but nature center visitation and our program numbers are up significantly, and that's 100% credit to the nature center staff and all the work that they do. We got a grant to hire this CORS position, Community Outdoor Recreation Education. He's hitting the ground running. And then just by merit of having our office there at the nature center, we're getting more casual visitation because we're open all day. And so we can have the doors open, so, you know, mom and dad bring their kids out to walk the trails and they notice the nature center's open, so they come in and see the snakes and the turtle and stuff that we've got upstairs and the different displays. And so that's cool to have people coming in and being able to offer that when we couldn't back when we were out at the main office. And so that definitely was a net gain for us. So those program numbers is something we're real proud of. And then just the last page there before we get into the financial statement is our volunteers. And this kind of highlights the volunteers that we recognized last fiscal year. George and Terry Van Hagen, I cannot thank them enough for all the work they do. They're out cleaning our parks all the time. George this year has been running different programs for us. He's a Olympic triathlete coach and has just done some great things with programs. The CERT team, we recognized them last fiscal year for all their work. Anytime we have some giant event where we've got to figure out how to park 700 cars inside the park there, they're there to handle parking for us and just those logistics that would take a huge chunk of our staff away from actually out there delivering the program. And then we had Trevor Skolinski was our environmental educator of the year. The work he's done helping with our summer camp programs, he's still volunteering with us throughout this year. In fact, I think just this current fiscal year, we recognize his girlfriend because now they're helping us out together. And then we recognize Kevin Moore and Kathy Ziegler with Outstanding Service Awards. Kevin Moore has just done so much for our parks. Built the Nature Center into what it has become today, did a roof on Zion's Schoolhouse, completely adopted that, created a whole new organization just to adopt that place. And then Kathy Ziegler has been running with our bat research, which the results from that have allowed us to purchase lands, has allowed us to lock down some grants because of the data that we have on threatened and endangered species out in our parks. So, and then just a summary of our financial statement, which is a lot of fun. That's about it. So, happy to answer any questions you have, and I want to thank this board for.
Could I have an extra one of those
Yeah.
so I can stamp one of these and then I'll have one to peruse at my convenience. Thank you.
Hey, did you leave Jimmy's? I'll take one, I'll put it on his desk, yeah.
And this will be published on our website. You can find a digital copy of this. We'll get it put up on our website here yet this week. You can find this and all the past ones that we've done for the last several years on there too, to kind of see how things compare year over year.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think we have to approve this, we just received this, but thank you, that's impressive. We have a Mississippi, maybe we don't, we have a Mississippi Valley Development Board presentation. Yep, they should be.
Oh, there she is, okay. I was gonna say, I thought-
Oh, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't see you up there.
Yeah, it's okay. Tyler, are you able to share your screen?
If you please introduce yourselves before you start.
Yeah, we will. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. We're so happy to be here today to talk to you about the Mississippi Valley Workforce Development Board. My name is Miranda Swafford, and I am the Executive Director of the board.
I'm Bobby Tripp. I am our Compliance Officer for the board.
And my name is Tyler Lyons. I'm the Strategic Partnership Specialist with the board.
So our objectives today in the short amount of time that we do have with you are to briefly talk about the Iowa Works system, who the Workforce Board is, the chief elected officials' responsibilities, our board membership, the Iowa Works centers, customers, and services, our 23-24 impact, and our Skill Up Mississippi Valley special initiative we currently have. So in Iowa, currently there are 6 local workforce development boards. We represent the gray portion on the eastern side of the state, covering 8 counties that includes Des Moines County. So who are we? We are a 501c3 nonprofit who receives Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, better known as WIOA, formula funding from the federal government to oversee and operate workforce development programs through the Iowa Work Centers in our 8-county area. WIOA legislation is designed to provide services to individuals with barriers to employment to reduce their reliance on public assistance programs and put them on a path to self-sufficiency. WIOA also aims to provide a qualified pipeline of individuals to meet our local business demands. And under this legislation, chief elected officials are responsible for oversight of the local workforce development work. So in Iowa, the chief elected officials are actually the county board of supervisors. So since we oversee 8 counties, we have 1 individual from each of those county boards that serves on this governing body. Shane Campbell is currently the representative for Des Moines County, and Jim Irwin is the lead of this group, and he is from Clinton County. So the roles and the responsibilities of the chief elected officials are to appoint members to the local workforce development board, designate the local grant recipient, which is the entity really responsible for the monitoring and financial management of the resources that come into our workforce area, and that is currently the Mississippi Valley Workforce Board. The CEOs also assist in developing policy and contribute to the development of the local plan. The CEOs participate or conduct oversight in coordination with the workforce board and approve budgets. Under this legislation, the CEOs are ultimately responsible for any misuse of federal dollars that come into the workforce area. And lastly, the CEOs participate in performance negotiations with the board and the state of Iowa. So under WIOA, we have very specific board membership requirements. We must maintain a political affiliation balance at all times. And 51% of our membership must be from business, 2 of which must represent small business. 20% of our membership must be from labor, and then we have 1 additional member each from higher education, economic development, adult education and literacy, Wagner-Kaiser, and vocational rehabilitation. So on this next slide, you will see this is our current list of board members, and a couple of them to highlight specifically from Des Moines County are Joyce Stimson from CNH, Ryan Drew and Jacob Nye from our local labor unions, and Martha Bell from Adult Education and Literacy. So our board structure is that our full board meets on a quarterly basis, and our CEOs meet shortly after that meeting to ratify any decisions of the board that they're required to confirm. But most work is done through committees, and we currently have 6 subcommittees that meet pretty much on a monthly basis. We have an executive, operations, finance, youth, business, and disability access. Under the legislation, federal legislation, the board has many roles and responsibilities. I'm just going to touch on a couple of them here due to our limited time, but really the board is required to analyze labor market information and use that data to design our workforce programs so that we ensure we're meeting the needs of our local communities. This ensures that we're using the federally invested dollars to the best possible way. The boards also are required to procure service providers, and these procured contractors provide the services through the Iowa Work Centers on behalf of the board. So the board and the board staff, we do not provide direct services to job seekers. We do provide some services to businesses, but most of the services that the board oversees are provided through a contracted entity, and they provide those services through the Iowa Work Centers in our local area. The board is also required to coordinate with all of the workforce partners in our local area to try and reduce duplication of services and maximize our resources. We assist in the development of career pathways and convene sector partnerships, and we ensure that employers have a voice throughout these planning processes. Boards are also responsible to leverage resources and continuously evaluate and monitor our programs. So we have 2 Iowa Work Centers, one in Davenport and the other one currently in West Burlington at West Lamont. And the myth we are trying to break is that IOWorks is not the unemployment office, and Tyler's gonna talk to you a little bit more about some of those programs and services that are available. Right, so some of the services that are provided through the Iowa Work Centers that are not unemployment services are general career services, including resume writing, interviewing, career planning, as well as connections with adult education and literacy, vocational rehabilitation, career technical education programs, and then we'll focus in a little bit more specifically on the adult programs, the dislocated worker program, and the youth program, which are those contracted programs through the service provider. So who do we serve through the Iowa Works system? We serve people with barriers to employment. That could be people who are currently receiving public assistance, people who are low income, veterans and their spouses, and supporting transitioning service members. Youth, of course, people with disabilities, people who are justice involved and are re-entering their communities, immigrants and refugees, Native Americans, and farm workers. So anybody who is experiencing a barrier to employment and needs some additional support can receive that through the Iowa Work Center. And some of the services that we provide to individuals who are job seekers are job readiness activities, assessments of their skill levels, their career interests, and their aptitudes. Developing individual employment plans with people so they can set goals, objectives, and different action steps along the way and sort of break down that journey for them into more manageable pieces. Work-based learning programs, tuition assistance, counseling, English language acquisition, and then some labor market information and career research. Some additional services that are specifically available to youth include some additional workshops for job readiness, leadership development, financial literacy, and entrepreneurial skills, as well as some incentives and stipends that are designed to support youth along their journey and reward them for achieving milestones along that plan. Now, on the flip side of that, we also provide services to businesses and local employers. And some of the ways we do that are through recruitment and training assistance, job fairs, layoff aversion and response in the event that layoffs do occur, some different customized training, disability awareness training, networking opportunities. We do convene sector partnerships, and we do have a grant available for businesses to upskill their employees as well. So out of the Iowa Works system as a whole, right, all of those different services that are provided through the Iowa Works centers, we've got a little bit of a breakdown here of our different counties. If we focus in specifically on Des Moines County makes up about 12% of our total workforce area, and they receive about 13.25% of the total services. So we like to see that represented. And we are happy that Des Moines County is participating in services. And to just specifically highlight a couple of different events that we've done in Des Moines County this past year, we do hold a monthly job fair at the Iowa Work Center in Westland Mall called Hire Talent Tuesday. Those are pretty well attended on a regular basis. Last year, they did also host the Southeast Iowa Regional Job Fair, and there were over 300 job seekers who attended that. And they did hold a business panel for National Disability Awareness Month last October at the Job Center as well. And I will hand it over to Mandy.
Okay, so I'm going to focus in on our board programs and the impact that we've had since last July 1st through June 30th of this year. We had a $5.4 million wage impact approximately into our local economies. What that means is the people coming out of our programs and entering into the workforce had some sort of wage impact or gain based on the programs that they participated in. We have a almost 95% satisfaction rate. And our customers that we served 153 businesses, 142 youth, and 198 adults. Of those served, 71 youth entered into employment, 72 adults entered into employment. We had 52 youth receive credentials and 47 adults receive additional credentials. We were able to award 8 businesses our Retrain and Retain grant and upskilled 84 employees in our workforce area. We provided 616 business services and 2,846 participant services. This is an illustration of our direct customer investments. As you can see, work-based learning is our largest investment of the federal funding. $179,000 goes into work-based learning. Support services, $143,000. And that would be if someone needs paid mileage or something to get to and from education, or maybe they need a tire replaced and they don't have the funds for it, or maybe they need help with their rent for a month to get on their feet. That is what that is. We also offer client awards and incentives. This is for the youth program. That's our 3rd highest there, where we incentivize them getting their high school diploma and following through with the HiSET exam for equivalency, as well as measurable skills gains. This is our board enrolled program. So these are that adult, youth, and dislocated worker programs that Tyler had talked about before. As you can see, Des Moines County takes advantage of this at 17.71%. Behind Scott County, you are the highest county that's taking advantage of these services, and we love to see that. We are held to federal performance requirements. As you can see, these are our performance numbers. We follow participants through a year after they exit our program. So they are measured on the 2nd quarter after exit and the 4th quarter after exit that they are employed. Their median earnings after the 2nd quarter after exit, and then participants who successfully complete a credentialing program. And now on to the fun stuff. We have a new initiative called Skill Up Mississippi Valley that we did not use federal funding to pay for, so we are allowed to offer this to every single resident in our 8 counties, which is about 386,000 people. We have some funders that helped pay for this, which was the Walmart in Burlington contributed some money, and the Des Moines County Community Foundation grant that we applied for and did receive, as well as Grove Clinton, and then the board used unrestricted federal, non-federal funds to pay for this. What is Skill Up Mississippi Valley? It is an e-learning platform. It has over 7,000 courses and 130 industry recognized certifications. 1,000 of those courses are at least in Spanish. It costs absolutely nothing for the residents and employers of our 8 counties. The employers can use it to upskill their current workforce, and if they want to create a group and assign courses, they just need to email me, and that would get them a group set up, and I can walk them through that whole process. We want to see the usage high in all of our counties, and of course, we would love for everyone to take a single course. I'm going to provide you with some additional resources. You can always check everything out on our board website, MississippiValleyWorkforce.org. And you can register for Skill Up right there with the Mississippi Valley Skill Up America link. And we would love for you to sign up for our quarterly newsletter, which will keep you in the know of workforce events and things just happening in our world, like the open house that will be at the Burlington Center next Tuesday on the 17th from 10 to noon. You can come see us and take a tour and do all kinds of fun things at the center. And that concludes this. Does anybody have any questions for any of us?
Thank you very much, Miranda, Tyler, Mandy. It was, that was interesting.
Thank you.
Well, Shane's a workforce expert, so if you ever have any questions, I'm sure he can answer them for you.
We are glad to know that. We have an additional resource. You guys have a great day, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Okay, we have reports. We have the sheriff's report of fees collected for August 2024. And the recorder's report of fees collected for August 2024. Those reports will be on file in the auditor's office and available for public review at your convenience. We have personnel actions. We have one for public health. Jennifer Hartman, secretary, 3.79 hours unpaid on August 29th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second, Sarah?
Shane Campbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. And one for the treasurer. Jillian Allen, clerk 2, motor vehicle department, an 18-month step increase. The previous rate was $34,764.90. The new rate is $37,158.58.
Motion to approve.
Second, Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. And we have one for the correctional center, Kenyatta Rooks, correctional officer, FEMLA, unpaid hours of 73.3 hours.
Motion to approve.
Second, Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. And we have minutes for the regular meeting of September 3rd, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second, Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes. Other business. I mentioned last week that I was gonna reach out to the attorney about our wind energy ordinance, and I did, and he returned my call yesterday, and so I sent him an email, and I copied the board on that email anyway, and so he's going to take a look at our ordinance by way of seeing, make sure it covers everything we want it to cover, and that bond will function the way we want it to function. We want a perpetual inflation adjusted
Right on.
bond, so he said he could do that. That's all I had. Future agenda items. We should probably, and we talked about it here, maybe reach out to Lisa or to have them come and explain. We talked about the health building and give us a little guidance on the difference between selling it, but you know, whether it would go to a private individual, does that need to be auctioned off? Whether if a public entity was interested, just so we sort of get our legs underneath us and have an idea what maybe we need to do. So whenever Lisa or Trent would have time to have a work session. Committee reports.
I had a Workforce Development Board youth meeting, and really all it was we had incentives that she brought up. There's incentives that they give out for reaching milestones, but yet there were some of them that were kind of it was set up where you could almost double down. So we didn't want to continue that. So we just reworded some things to make it so that the incentives and the milestones were individual milestones, and that you couldn't say, well, I reached this one, so I can get some money from this. That was basically it. And then we also had a conservation board meeting, and we're gonna start looking at budget and trying to find some new revenue streams. That's fair to say. And it's just been a busy year, so that's about it.
I had no committees. Thank you, Shane. Public input. Anybody from the public would like to address the board, you can email the Board of Supervisors at board@dmcounty.com. That's BOARD@dmcounty.com, or you can call 319-753-8203, extension 4. That's 319-753-8203, extension 4. We'll give you a couple minutes to initiate that email or that call. In the meantime, does anybody in attendance have any comments, questions? Dare I say complaints? Don't, Brian. Saw your eyes light up.
Keeping them all to myself.
I know I'll be reaching out to the supervisors here, I don't know, maybe later this month or in October. West Burlington has been doing some hydrologic engineering, they've brought in a consulting firm. They have some pretty significant flooding issues, when we get big rains. A lot of their watershed goes up through Lewis Park and stuff, drains into.
I'm not laughing at you.
Yeah. Jim's not here with the ducks, so Shane had to do something. And so a lot of that drains into Isaac Walton Lake, and so I think they finally have some data that they wanna share. I'm gonna put a work session together with my board, I think later this month. And so we'll all be part of that discussion as to what that might look like. I don't really know yet, but I just wanna put that on your radar, that's probably coming up. It's something we talked about like a year ago.
Yeah.
We're doing some stuff on it, and I think they finally have some information to share.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Anybody else? Well, the frog sounded, so I assume the 2 minutes are up.
Not quite.
Oh, what was the frog noise thing?
That was just, miss hit, so anyways.
Operator error.
Yeah, thank you.
We were talking about flooding, so frogs hanging around.
Right, yeah.
I'm not sure technology is all as good as it's.
There.
There, that's the signal, that's the end of public input. With an aye, we're adjourned.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Have a great day. Yeah, we're adjourned.
I think it's about
We're the original on time.
Tom's. Okay, perfect. I did not make it out.